No. Get a little higher.
Gentle.
I will declare the council meeting back in order from recess, and now we will conduct a public meeting to consider the engineer's report regarding drain 39-2018. I will act as chair of the public meeting, and CO Clerk will outline the purpose of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. This is part lots 5 to 7, concession 6 and 7, Town of Minto. Notice of the meeting were sent to 10 landowners along with copies of the amended report. As well, copies of amended report were circulated to town staff, Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, Ministry of Natural Resources, and Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority.
Okay, I'll call on the engineer to provide a summary of the amended report. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let's see if I got this turned on.
Pretty sure it's on. Yep. Sounds like it's on.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Greg Nanskaville, and I'm here tonight to present a couple of drain reports, 3 of them actually, on behalf of Dietrich Engineering. And Drain 39, we did have a meeting on this a couple of weeks ago at the last council meeting. I can go through things again, and I think probably there's just some clarification needed on the amendments to this.
Correct.
And the amendments that were made to this project were actually in the estimated construction costs. They were not the most updated construction costs. The assessment dollars and figures on the yellow page were correct for this. So we put together new reports with the correct scope of work in it and the cost estimate.
Yeah, so just to be clear, the figures were correct on the original report. It was just the scope was
correct. That's correct.
Okay,
scope.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would you like any further explanation?
I don't need any further. What do we ask? Oh yeah, okay, all right, sure. Not at this point. As Perry Mason would say, subject to recall.
Okay.
He's very good. He's Perry Mason.
Okay, I'm dating myself. Okay, I would call on town staff to provide any additional comments.
None at this time.
Not at this time. I would call on persons in attendance wishing to provide information that might influence council's decision on this matter. I will divide that into pro and con, I guess. So anybody wishing to speak in favor of the report? Okay, anybody wishing to speak against the report? Okay, then I will provide an opportunity for affected landowners to either add or remove their names from the Section 4 petition. Okay, hearing none or seeing none. Council questions and further comments? Okay, I like the way this meeting's going.
That's my comment.
Okay, so council must decide whether or not to proceed with the project by provisionally adopting the engineer's report by bylaw, or referring the report back to the engineer for modifications. There is no right to appeal assessments or other aspects of the engineer's report at this meeting. These appeal rights will be made available later in the procedure. CO Clerk will note a bylaw shall be presented during open council if that is the wish of council.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Okay, and hearing nothing else, I will officially adjourn this public meeting considering the engineer's report for Drain 39, 2018. Next, we go to Section 4. Or no, come on, computer. And we'll then go, we're going to have a public meeting to consider the engineer's report regarding Drain 24-2018. I will act as chair of the public meeting. And CO Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. This is lots 104 to 110, concession C, and part of lots 103 to 108, concession D in the town of Minto. Notices of the meeting were sent to 13 landowners along with copies of the report. As well, copies of the report were circulated to town staff, Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Rural Affairs, Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, and Ministry of Natural Resources.
Okay, I will call on now the engineer to provide a summary of this report.
Okay, thank you. This municipal drain number 24 serves a drainage area of approximately 157.4 hectares, or that's about 390 acres. And it's in the area of lots 104 to 110 concession C and 103 to 108 concession D. And this is out near Tividale, the bend just before you get to Tividale. Council has appointed Dietrich Engineering under Section 78 request that was signed by Helmut Seebach in April of 2012. This municipal system, the drainage system, was originally constructed as the Charles H. Mutter Award system under the Ditches and Watercourses Act. There have been a few reports on it since then. There are further improvements. It was brought under the Drainage Act in 1928. There was further improvements in 1955. The bottom end of the outlet west of Wellington Road 109 was upgraded in 1982 by a report prepared by Spreet and Associates. We had an on-site meeting. That's a requirement under the Drainage Act. We've had 2 public information meetings to go over design, cost estimates, assessments, that type of thing. What we're proposing to do, our findings were that the upper portion of this to the north or the east of Wellington Road 109 are actually in poor condition. They're undersized, not much cover on them in some spots. So therefore, we're recommending to upgrade the system to today's standards. We're proposing to parallel the existing 21-inch diameter concrete tile from the west side of Wellington Road 109 to its outlet into the open portion of the ditch. Parallel it with a 24-inch diameter tile, and then upstream replacing the entire system right up to second line from tiles ranging from an 8-inch in diameter to a 27-inch in diameter. The total length of this project is 3,340 meters. So that's about almost 11,000 feet. Total estimated cost for this project are $517,200. The assessment of these costs can be found on the yellow page or page 13 of the report. And there you'll see that we have assessed $282,400 in benefit, $108,325 in outlet liability. There's special assessments to 3 roads. 2 are owned by Minto and 1 the County of Wellington. That's under Section 26. For total estimated cost of this project, engineering, allowances, everything included, is $517,200. There's 1/3 government grant available for farms that qualify, or properties actually, that qualify for the farm tax class rate. We've calculated that and put it beside the total assessment. We've provided allowances under 2 sections of the Act here, 29 and 30. And the column on the far right is the estimated net costs, or more or less the out-of-pocket costs for what's being presented here tonight. I know I went through that pretty quickly, but I think
that was excellent.
If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Council have any questions? I have one. We talked about the June 23rd flood and how much damage we could anticipate with municipal drains. Is any of that part of was there any flood damage, I guess, to this municipal drain?
No.
The
23rd event was a 100-year rain event. This one is probably more like a 2 to 5 design standard.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. Then I will now call on town staff to provide any additional comments. None at this time?
None at this time.
All right. Thank you. I call on persons in attendance wishing to provide information that might influence council's decision on this matter. Council questions or further comments? Okay. Then I will state, council must decide whether or not to proceed. I did. Did anybody wish to speak to this? The landowners? If you wish, come on up to the mic, please, because you're on TV. That's all right. We'll be patient, but we have to have you on there so we can record what's been said. So if you would come up to the mic. No, please come up to the mic. Well, that's fine.
Sorry.
I'm not a good listener.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The thing is that the tile is not good anymore. They break down year after year. And something is to do, but the cost for that one, for me, is absolutely too high. So I have just this land to do. That's almost to have something to do for me. For my income is not to talk about that one, you know. For what I paid the bill before from 56 and 57,000 bucks. You can tell me that one. I use my pension for that one for the rest of life to pay the tile back. I cannot do. And the township fixed the tile last fall, right after seeding wheat in there. Now it's not one stripe over winter. Nothing done for now. Now it's a hole in there too. And all deal getting the ground away and get more ground away and getting more ground away. And the tile sitting almost 6 inches on the lowest spot down the top. You know, that's a handicap for any work. That's a handicap for any equipment to drive over. The first break that one, and the next drive over by the equipment break the tile down. You know.
So I guess if I'm hearing you correctly, sir, then the decision will have to be made is first of all we'd have to research, is there any other payment schedule that can be worked out? Right?
Yeah, I cannot pay a bill from $56,000. I'm not sure from what. I have to use my pension for it.
Does that qualify under the municipal drain loans? Could you answer that question, sir?
Actually, if you're referring to the tile drain loan?
Correct.
Okay, no, this won't.
That wouldn't qualify.
Won't, no.
Okay. And
Is it on here, that schedule?
is that schedule of who
Yes.
owes what?
Because that is on page 13.
I don't want to change my agenda.
That's on page 13, the yellow page there.
Right.
And if I might,
Go ahead, sir.
if I might through you, Mr. Chair, I think what Helmut is saying is that something had to be done, that the tile is in poor shape across his property and actually a good section of it. And I think he wants to see something done. I agree with him totally. And I think it's more of an assessment. I think he feels he's paying too much towards it. And I sympathize with him. But he does own 2 farms and he has about 40% of the drainage area. His net costs after grants and allowances, he's paying about 7.5% of the total cost of work. We think we did about all we can for him when it comes to assessment. Although at the quarter revision, there'll be a panel made up of 3 or 5 of you folks.
Correct.
And if you can lighten the load, the burden on them, if you feel that's the thing to do, then that could be done at that point in time.
Okay. Thank you. So then it is a responsibility of the town of Minto to make sure that the assessment of portion is fair. Correct. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Any other comments, Mr. Greenwood or Mr. Martin or anybody else? Oh, sorry. Councilor Elliott.
So is there what happens if somebody says I'm not paying or I can't afford to pay?
If someone chooses not to pay their municipal drain assessment, then it can be put onto their taxes.
Yeah,
It's
we're aware of that.
It's exactly the same as property taxes. So,
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And you were heard. And then, so what council must decide whether or not to proceed with the project by provisionally adopting the engineer's report by bylaw or referring the report back to the engineer for modifications. There is no right to appeal assessments or other aspects of the engineer's report at this meeting. These appeal rights will be made available later in the procedure. I'm assuming that that's when it goes to the Court of Revision.
If I may, the bylaw would only get first and second reading tonight. And then Court of Revision, which would be the deputy mayor, the mayor, and chair of public works would meet. We'll give notice of the Court of Revision, and that's when we can deal with the assessment amounts and whether we want to make changes.
Perfect. Thank you. Then CO clerk will note a bylaw, if appropriate, will be presented during open council, if that is the wish of council. Any other, before I adjourn the meeting, any other wishing to state? Thank you. I hereby adjourn this public meeting on agenda number 2018-0703 on drain 24. Okay, then we go to Chalmers one, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go again. We have public meeting. I will call the meeting to order, a public meeting. I will act as chair and request any member of the public present to please sign the attendance record, which is a sheet on a clipboard over there. And I will state the following. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the town of Minto before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the town of Minto to the Ontario Municipal Board, and the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the board, unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So CO White will state the municipal address and legal description of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The property is 6739 Wellington Road 109 and 6630 Wellington Road 123, Concession D, Part Lot 114, Part 1. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone a portion of the subject lands from agricultural exception to light industrial M141 and to allow for the fueling and parking of school buses. Agricultural exception A61 to unserviced residential zone. Agricultural exception to rural industrial to permit a reduced lot area of approximately 8.29 hectares for the retained parcel. This rezoning has been filed in conjunction with severance applications B52, 53, and 54 of 2018, currently before County Land Division Committee. The proposed severances will serve to add additional land to the three properties 6624, 6630, and 6634 Wellington Road 123. The proposed severed parcels are currently zoned agricultural exception. The application serves to rezone the severed parcels to the same zone as the existing lots which are being added to or merged with the property. Notice was mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject lands and to applicable agencies June 14th. Posted on site. Comments were received from Town of Minto staff, and the building assistant's report is attached. Curtis Marshall, Senior Planner, and Jessica Wilton, Junior Planner, County of Wellington, and their report is attached, and Curtis is here as well.
Okay. I'm going to call on the applicant or agent to provide comments regarding the proposed amendment. No one here. Okay. Then I will call on anyone to comment in favor of the proposed amendment. Okay. Now I will call on anyone to comment in opposition of the proposed amendment. Okay. Would you step up to the mic, please?
Hi, I'm Judy Wast. I have I live at 6733 Wellington Road, 109. The severance that has been requested by Chalmers Fuel is it's agricultural land, and I'm a little concerned over the fact that we're continually losing agricultural land to industrial. And not only that, I just found out what the proposal was for the severance. I understand why they want the severance, because they need to have it as an industrial, because they are already industrial. I'm just not sure, and maybe you can clear this up for me, what is meant by light industrial as opposed to regular industrial?
You want to answer that, COA?
The county planner will.
Oh, would the county planner like to come up and answer that question, please? I think we can, but he'd be better to answer it.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon.
Councilors. So in terms of this subject property, it is located in Tiviotdale, in the boundary of Tiviotdale. So in terms of uses, a mix of small scale, commercial, institutional, industrial uses are permitted in Tiviotdale. So in this case, in terms of light industrial, generally that means low water and service users, as there isn't municipal services in Tiviotdale. So generally, much like the uses you see there now, those would be, I guess, the best way to characterize as light industrials.
So, just to clarify, light industrial means low use of water.
If you'd like, I could read from the township zoning bylaw if that could provide some assistance.
That's probably a wise thing to do.
Sorry, bear with me there.
No, that's fine. We want to get it right.
Okay, so in the township zoning bylaw, there's generally two industrial classifications. So we have a rural industrial zone that permits a range of uses. So one of the properties in the hamlet is now zoned rural industrial. And just to give you an idea, it permits builders or contractors' yards, business professional office, a dry industry, feed mill, service or repair shop, transport establishment, as a few examples from the list. Also, so that's sort of the range of uses that we would expect sort of in a dry industrial, or sorry, light industrial.
And so, ma'am, are you aware of the use that's proposed for this?
I am now.
Okay. Thank you. A marshalling area for the buses?
Yes. And I'm just wondering, where were these buses looked after before?
Oh, what happened? I can perhaps answer that. Was that the Board of Education put out tenders every 10 years for bus routes, and so these companies must bid on each bus route. And so what happened was, I believe it's Cook's have won the award for most of the school bus routes to service Minto Clifford, Norwell in Palmerston, and all the other schools in the town of Minto. And so what they need is a marshalling area for these buses to service the town of Minto.
And
They won the award. They won the tender is
Okay.
what happened.
okay. Another one of my concerns is when I come out my back door, I can look straight across and I can see where they've graded the property that they want the severance on and put up posts for a fence, I would imagine. And it's a distance, but it's close enough. I'm thinking about the winter time, and I'm not sure how many buses we're talking about, but I know that buses usually run on diesel, and that is I'm concerned about the pollution of the air and my own pollution because diesel fuel makes me sick, literally. And I'm just thinking it's close enough that you could the fumes could it's and also this severance brings to mind another concern. This severance takes up I don't know whether it's 5 even or 5 point something acres of property, leaving the rest of that, the dotted line is 20.5 acres. And that 20.5 acres is right next to me. Like my property line butts right up against that. And I'm just wondering, I'm not sure whether you can tell me this or not, but I'm just wondering and that property is for sale right now. And I'm just wondering if that property were to sell, if the new owner wanted to say, do something industrial there, would it be just a done deal because the severance around was already done as industrial?
It has nothing to do with the severance. It has to do with the zoning of what that land is.
Okay.
And that land, that remaining 20,
It's agriculture, A61.
it's A61, so it cannot be used for industrial. Unless there's a zoning change, correct?
Is there a chance that would ever be changed? I guess you maybe can't answer that.
We'd have to apply.
Well, all I can say is it is in a settlement area, so there is a chance, but it's not before us now. But you would have the same opportunity to come back and indicate your concerns. But because it's in a settlement area, there is a chance that it could come back and be asked to be put into a light industrial or some sort of compatible zone to the urban or to the settlement area designations. I wouldn't want to sit here and promise you that it couldn't,
That's right.
it couldn't change.
No, well, I didn't think you could probably do that, but I thought it was a good question to
Okay.
It
to
definitely
ask.
would need another process though. So.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're the applicant or his agent is given an opportunity for rebuttal, and he's not here, right? Okay. Member of council, questions? Okay. I will state that if you wish to be notified of the decision of council of the town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harriston, N0G1Z0, or by email at bwhite@town.minto.on.ca.
Mr. Chair, before you adjourn the meeting, there is a severance report with some conditions. Did you want to adjourn the meeting and then do the severance report, or do you want to just do that now?
What do you
Why
suggest?
don't we adjourn, I guess, this, and then we'll do the severance comments to the county.
Okay, is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, I'll declare this public meeting closed. And now we'll do minor variance, right?
No, now we got to do the comments from the
Oh, yes.
planning assistant regarding the severance, so that we make sure.
Which one was that? Bottom one? Okay.
It looks like this.
Okay.
Basically, what we're doing is formalizing our comments to the county regarding the severance.
Oh, it's not that one either. Oh, it might be. That one. Okay.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Michelle.
So, Michelle Brown,
County.
would you please come forward and offer the comments from the county and the town?
The reports almost mirror one another because they are going concurrent, and we are asking, the county is also asking that we.
Could you speak into the mic,
Oh,
please?
is it on? Okay, so the reports almost mirror one another. We've pretty much gone through, we have one large piece of property. The adjoining properties are going to merge, and they've asked for the zoning that we've just gone through for all the very same purposes. But as far as the severance is concerned, we will also be asking for, there is a reduced lot. So there will, on the retained portion, we are also going to request respectfully that we do a reapportionment for all 4 properties for the drainage, as well as we are recommending a professional engineer complete a grading and drainage plan for the stormwater, for the paving, for the buses, as well as all other applicable pieces that will apply during our traditional standards of condition for severance. Those are the only extra pieces being added.
Sir, do you have any comments to add?
No, I have nothing more to add.
Questions from council? Thank you. The recommendation, I read that now. That council receives the building assistance report on the proposed rezoning application.
No, this is for severance
is severance.
conditions.
Oh, this is for the severance condition.
This is the next report.
Oh, okay. That the council recommends the County of Wellington Land Division Committee approve severance applications B52/18, B53, and B54/18. Doug Chalmers Incorporation and Nicholas Brower Severance Municipality, known as 6624, 6630, 6634, Wellington Road 123, Tividale, Town of Minto, and that the following conditions be considered. Now there's 4 conditions. I better read them. That the applicant satisfies all requirements of the Town of Minto, financial and otherwise, which the town may deem to be necessary for the proper and orderly development of the subject lands. That the applicant be advised the Town of Minto will require payment of any applicable development charges at the time of issuance of a building permit, respecting the lots, subject to the application at the rate established by council, applicable at time of issuance of the building permit. That the applicant prepares and submit a grading and drainage plan for the retained portion to the satisfaction of the Town of Minto, which may require a plan prepared by a professional engineer prior, and that the owner complete the provisions of the approved grading and drainage plan and stormwater management plan pursuant to development of the subject lands. And finally, that the applicant obtains a written statement from the Town of Minto confirming the proposed lots and associated land uses, buildings, and structures comply with all applicable requirements in the Town of Minto zoning bylaw. Would somebody like to move that motion? Councillor Turton, second by Councillor Caldwell. All in favor? I declare that motion carried. So now what do we do now?
No, we're done.
Now we're done.
That part.
For that
Thank
one.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I do this.
Okay, now we're on to this.
No. Yes, do that.
Okay, that the moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the committee of the whole convenes into committee of adjustment. All in favor? I declare the motion carried. Oh, I gotta hit the, oh no, there's nothing there. There. And then I hit that. Okay. So right haven agenda. Yeah, I need the agenda. Okay. Now we are going to have a public hearing in respect to, I will call the meeting to order. Any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merit, and no two applications are exactly the same. The public hearing is to consider minor variance application file number MV-2018-04, Right Haven Homes Incorporated. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer to state the following information.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The subject property is legally described as Concession 1, Part Lot 20, Plan 61R 1191, Part 1, and is known as Main Street East, Palmerston. Purpose of the application is to permit construction of a 4-unit street townhouse with an exterior side yard setback of 4.61 meters, an interior side yard setback of 1.55 meters, lot area of 276 square meters, and a corner lot frontage of 11.77 meters, whereas Section 12.2.6 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum exterior side yard of 6 meters, a minimum interior side yard of 3 meters, a minimum lot area of 280 square meters, and a minimum corner lot frontage of 13.6 meters for a street townhouse. Notice was mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the lands and applicable agencies June 22nd. It was also posted on the property and circulated to staff on the same date, and comments were received from the Town of Minto Building Assistant, who's here with her staff report, County of Wellington Junior Planner Jessica Wilton, and Senior Planner Curtis Marshall, who's here, Chris Pathin of 546 Main Street, who's opposed due to traffic, character of Palmerston tree removal, and other concerns. And I believe you have a copy of that letter in your
Correct.
package.
Okay. I will call on the applicant or agent, followed by comments by county or town staff. Seeing none here, I will request that. Oh, I'm sorry. Please come on up.
I don't say anything or not, but Deputy Mayor, I'm Steve Wright. I'm the applicant.
Correct.
From Right Haven Homes. And it's our intention or our plans to build a townhome within the new subdivision, Creek Bank Meadows, developed by Hard Scale. I respect the letter that was submitted by the neighbor very much, but the housing and development part of it was already pre-approved for the development, as were the tree removal. So we really didn't have anything to do with the tree removal. Our application is based on some townhomes that we'd like to be able to build within the subdivision, facing onto what is now called Bridge Crescent. And the purpose of doing that is that we would like to be able to build homes with garages that every unit would have access to the rear yard. In past, typically, you built townhomes that have easements so that everybody would have access to the rear yards for mowing and stuff. This is a way of preventing easements so that each and every townhome is sold what we call freehold, so that everyone has their own properties with which to use it. So we're kind of excited about the product. We're hoping that it's well received and well accepted. And it also allows for wider and bigger garages from most townhome submissions in the communities before. So that's the principle behind it. I thought the variances that we were requesting are minor in nature, being that they're side yards. We have had approval from the county with respect to snow plowing and road clearance. So we were hoping that the other variances were minor in nature for side yard and frontage. There was a little bit of confusion with respect to the frontage of the property, but the townhomes will be fronting onto the internal street.
Correct. And just to clarify, is there one entrance or two entrances to that main subdivision?
There is one main entrance.
One main entrance off of Main Street.
Off of Main Street, yes. And there's
Correct.
2 cul-de-sacs.
Correct.
Created.
Correct. Okay. Thank you for your input.
Okay. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. And request any person wishing to speak to the application to come forward and address the Committee of Adjustment through myself. Hearing none. Ask for questions by committee or response rebuttal by applicant or agent. So I'm assuming that's council. So yes, Councillor Dirksen?
Yes, thank you. So the one that, I guess the side yard on 123, that is the, that has a bit of contention about it. It's the one that is supposed to be 19 feet 8 inches, and they're asking for 15.2. Am I right? Am I right on that?
Wait.
I think so, yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions? Any other councillor questions?
Just looking at that drawing, if I may, Mr. Deputy Mayor, so you see in between those 2 middle units, that 1.3 meters, that's what they're referring to as giving access to the rear yard. So if that weren't there and you squeeze them all together, then you would meet your side yard. But I think this is appropriate for the development of the lands to have that there. I actually haven't seen that, so that's kind of interesting. And
Is that going to be concrete?
Typically, it's patio stones, the gravel and patio
Okay.
stone to where the root line is such that the grass does not grow. And then from there it would be lawn, and typically we fence 16 feet down the middle of those properties.
Okay.
So I guess the point is you could build the 4 units anyway, so it's just a different design and it seems to make sense for the land.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, then Secretary Treasurer will provide resolution for the committee to consider.
So that's me, Mr. Chair. So I have 2 resolutions prepared. One would approve the application and one would deny the application. So I'm not sure where council is, but I'll read the decision. If council wishes to approve the application by Right Haven Homes, care of Stephen Wright, for property legally described as I've described it, concession 1, part lot 20, known as Main Street East, town of Palmerston, town of Minto, to allow construction of a 4-unit street townhouse with an exterior side yard setback of 4.6 meters, an interior side yard setback of 1.55, layout area of 276 square meters, and quarter building frontage of 11.77 meters. The committee, believing the request to be minor and desirable for the appropriate development of the lands and to maintain the intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw, approves the application. And if you do decide to make that motion and approve it, you're considering comments from the county planner, the town of Minto staff, and also the letter that was received.
And the other one just rejects.
The other one would be the opposite, that
Correct.
don't believe the variance is minor or desirable.
Okay.
So
Okay. Council's wishes? Councilor Caldwell.
I would move to approve it.
Thank you. Seconder, Councilor Turton. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll circulate the approval decision, and you would sign only if you're in favor of the application.
Can we adjourn that before we sign? Okay, then anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, to please sign the request for notice of decision prior to leaving the council chambers following the meeting. And I officially adjourn this public meeting.
This?
Okay. I'll sign that first. David?
Oh, the back of the garage. Oh,
Kind of neat. I've never seen it. 32 years.
Yeah, it is neat. Okay, could I have everybody's attention again, please? Even though you're making a lot of noise with that candy. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the Committee of Adjustment convenes into regular council meeting. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Declare that motion carried. So I've got 10 minutes to kill, is that right? Moved by Councillor Turton, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2018-49 to provide the drainage for drainage works in the town of Minto, known as Municipal Drain 39, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed. I'm just reading what's printed.
Take the third time out.
Take the third time out and initial it. Okay, first and second, and pass an open council and seal with the seal. Stop right. Oh,
And passed and
open council. So I got to stroke all this out.
Yep.
read first and second.
The first and second reading are still passing.
Yep.
Any other instructions before I ask for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? Good one. Opposed?
Yeah.
I declare the motion carried. We do take it very serious, though we do. Moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Turton. That good catch. That bylaw 2018-50 to provide for drainage works in the town of Minto, known as Municipal Drain 60, be introduced and read a first, second time and passed an open council. All in favor? Declare that motion carried. This one?
I think so, yes.
Moved by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2018-51 to provide for drainage works in the town of Minto, known as Municipal Drain 24, be introduced and read a first, second time and passed an open council. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Turton, that bylaw 2018-52 to set the council of the town of Minto's remuneration be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed an open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried. Okay.
Throwing me off here.
Okay, moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2018-53 to retain the 1/3 tax-free allowance for remuneration paid to members of a municipal council for the 2014-18 term.
It's that term. It's this term.
Okay. Correct. Be introduced and read a first, second, third time, pass an open council, and seal with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare that motion carried.
I thought that this, if I may, Mr. Chair, that 17F was only supposed to get first and second reading too.
That is correct. It has not been changed as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Only a first and second reading. Does it not say that either?
It does, but it says seal. I just take the sealed part off.
Because you do seal that signature and then
Yeah.
sealed again when
Okay.
they sign the third time.
Oh,
So I should read sealed.
yeah, go
Either
ahead.
way is fine.
Okay, that moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2018-54 to amend zoning for 6739 Wellington Road 109 and permit an additional use on 6630 Wellington Road 123 be introduced and read a first, second time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare that carried. Okay. Okay, moved by Councillor Turton, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2018-55, bylaw to set a speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour on the 12th line between Highway 89 and County Road 6 and Pike Lake Road from the 12th line to Highway 89, oh yes, in the town of Minto be introduced, read, first, second, third time, passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Okay. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Dirksen, the bylaw 2018-56 to confirm actions of the council of the corporation of the town of Minto respecting a meeting held July the 3rd, 2018 be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council. Seal with the seal of corporation. All in favor? I declare the motion carried. And I believe this is an important one coming up. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Caldwell, that the council of the town of Minto adjourn to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Declare that carried.